year later. Flueport, Salem, Massachusetts. We're here. A whole year had passed since Angelique received her acceptance letter from the academy, and now she was stepping foot into the Flueport in another city known for its old legends of magic, Salem, Massachusetts. The whole hall was crowded with witches and wizards and their children, probably other children out of state coming to attend the school. "All right, Angelique, calm down, we need to keep a lookout for your headmistress." They had in fact taken the tour of the school some months ago, and the headmistress was quite intrigued with Angelique when they met. "I can't help it, Mooney, I'm so excited." Abby had wanted to come along, but Remus told her the Flu tickets allowed only one adult and child to come, no more. She promised to write to Angelique when she could, but of course Angelique would only write to her and Remus. I know. I was excited on my first day of school too." Now. There she is now. Headmistress Malcolm came over to them, along with her secretary Miss Richards. "Welcome, Mr. Lupin, Miss Potter. I trust your trip was pleasant." "Yes, thank you." Remus shook her hand, as did Angelique. "Excellent. If you two will follow me, we will go straight to the school. Most of the other students have already arrived, but they are all checking into their rooms. School didn't start until tomorrow, but Angelique had wanted to arrive early so she could unpack and be done with it. Come now, we must go." "Yes, Mom." Angelique and Remus followed her to a large flue, and once Headmistress Malcolm tapped the top, the destination was set. They all stepped inside, and in a rush of emerald flames they were flued straight to the grounds of the American Academy for Magic. "Here we are, come on in." They walked up to the gates of the school, which looked like a giant manor, not a castle like Hogwarts. It had over 700 rooms, 500 of which were bedrooms for students, half for boys and half for girls. Others were classrooms, one large hall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, some old closets full of supplies, an old dungeon used for detentions, a large auditorium, a Quidditch field. Hell, the school even had its own gift shop for when parents visited. "It's as big as I remember," Angelique whispered, looking at the school as they entered. "Oh my dear, believe me, you'll get used to it soon enough. Now, normally students go to the front to collect their room keys, but I figured since you are one of the first English students to come here I would deliver it to you myself." "That's very nice of you, Mom." Angelique found it a bit weird, then again the headmistress found it odd that a girl from Britain would want to attend an American school, and she wasn't the first to do it, just one of the few. "Well, you certainly passed our test with the highest score I've seen in a long time. I figured you should feel welcome here. Now, do you have that map I gave you?" Angelique nodded and pulled out a map of the school. Malcolm gave it to her and each student received one before beginning. The map would show where they were and where they needed to go. It was like a tracker for them in the huge school. She hasn't stopped looking over it. Remus laughed. "Well, that map will certainly come in handy for you here, my child. Now go on and check into your room. We'll see you at the welcoming dinner." "Yes, Mom." Malcolm led them inside the school. At the front entrance were two chimera statues, the school's legendary animal guardian. The rumors began that the spirit of a powerful chimera protected the school with such intense magic it could be stronger than Hogwarts. Of course, unlike Hogwarts, this school was founded by one person, and it didn't have 4 houses to sort in. Students were separated by year, and only a select amount of those students took advanced classes, one of them being Angelique. "Which hall do we take, Angelique?" Angie looked at the map and it pointed to the east wing, towards the South Hall. South Hall, into the East Wing, room 218. A whole room on her own. Hopefully it was big enough for her. "Let's move on then." They followed the map's instructions, making it straight towards the hallway where Angie's room was. Some students and their parents were already there, and then Angelique spotted her room at the end. There it is. They walked up to the room, unlocked the door, and Angelique already liked the room. It was a good size, with her own bathroom and closet, probably slightly bigger than her room at Potter Manor. The walls were a light tan color, the single bed was bare except for a couple of pillows, and there was a clock on the wall, a crow clock, like a mole cuckoo clock, but instead crows came out when the big hand hit 12. Like that clock. Remus laughed. Do you like the room? Oh yeah, it's nice, but I thought we had to share bathrooms. Well, I think that some rooms have their own, so you don't have to worry about sharing with anyone. That made her feel a little better. What say we unpack your things? Yeah, might as well. Remus pulled out Angelique's shrunken trunk, which was actually her mother's hand-me-down trunk, whereas Charlie got his own with his name engraved on the front. Of course she'd hear back from Abby later, knowing that Charlie would no doubt wind up in Gryffindor like he wanted. Do you want to try? Remus had taken Angelique to get her first wand from Ollivanders, which was actually made from holly with a phoenix feather for the core. Charlie's had been oak with unicorn hair, much to his dismay. He tried to get another wand, but Ollivander said it was impossible. The wand chose the wizard and that wand chose Charlie. Once that had been done, Angelique went to Gringotts with Remus alone, and the goblins let her take as much money as she wanted. Of course she took it from one of the minor vaults, but she nearly took the whole amount, figuring she needed it. Some she gave to Abby when she got home, but told her to hide it so Charlie wouldn't take it. Yeah. Angelique pulled her wand out, and waved it over her trunk until it reached its full size. It had her clothes, including her uniforms, her books which she borrowed from the Potter family library, her school books, stationery materials to write home, a small doll she'd made with Abby, her good pillow, personal materials, and 3 photos, one of her and Abby when they were little, one of Remus with them laughing, and one recent photo of Abby. You brought a lot. Well, I'm gonna be here a while, Remus. I'll write to you as often as I can. And I'll be here for when parents visit in 2 months, you can count on that. Remus hugged her. Now then. He waved his wand and right away all of Angelique's things were put up and in the proper areas. Shelves appeared for the books along the walls, and a desk appeared in the corner of the room near the window. Thanks. Angelique sat on her now-made bed, looking around, nearly feeling at home. I'm gonna miss you, Remy. Remus smiled and knelt down in front of her. I will miss you too, my sweet cubby. That was his nickname for her and Abby. I'll be sure to let Abby know you will write. She knows I will. I just wish she didn't have to stay at home with them. Remus hugged her close. I promise you I will watch over Abby. Now I know James and Lily won't abuse her, but I will make sure that she knows you and both still love her. I know I can count on you, Moony, but I'll miss her so much. And when she starts school, where will she? Remus stopped her. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now you have to focus on your studies. Don't worry about Charlie, you know he'll be fine. Angelique frowned. Why would I worry about him? Never mind. Now I have to get back, but you have everything you need, right? Angelique nodded. I'll write to you when I get home, and I'll tell Abby to write too. Angelique didn't have a familiar. Younger students were only permitted animal pets in their second years, but she knew she would be able to use the school owls to deliver her letters. Okay, Moony? Remus stood up. Yes. Angelique frowned again, but hugged the man around the waist. Why couldn't you be our godfather? She whispered, and he held her tightly. I wish I was, cubby, I wish I was. He kissed the top of her head and let go. I love you, I'll write. Bye, Moony. They shared a hug one more time, and then Remus left after handing Angelique a box of her favorite Belgian chocolate. Thankfully the box was charmed to produce more after one spot emptied. She would need it. Angelique wasn't completely happy now, but she was glad she would finally be away from those people supposed to be her family. She would no doubt hear from them about Charlie, but she didn't care. All she hoped for was for Abby to be alright. Abby may get a little more attention than her, but she still wasn't their perfect spoiled son. I miss you already, Abby, but I'll see you again soon. The school let the students return home for the holidays, and Angelique would make sure she saved up enough money to get Abby and Mooney presents. She also planned to give herself a makeover probably next year. Some of the girls here would no doubt be taking the cosmetic class, or what they called magic beauty. She already had an idea in mind, and it was going to be a good one. The next day, Angelique woke up the next morning when her alarm went off. She had approximately an hour and a half to bathe and dress before going down for breakfast. Her first class today was charms, and from what she knew the teacher was tough but fair. She also had defensive magic, magical creatures care, and music today, but these were her classes for Monday and Wednesday. Then Tuesday and Thursday she had runes, flight class which was like more physical education but on brooms and playing games for strength and fun, transfiguration, and potions. Friday through Sunday were the students' days to do homework and rest, but Angelique decided to take a medical course with the school's healing program. Despite the fact that the Potters had all been errors, the males that is, Angelique decided to become a healer witch. She'd chosen that field when she took care of Abby constantly after multiple falls and bumps when she was little. She wanted to help people, not show off her magic like the Auras sometimes did after arresting a Dark Witch wizard. The first day. She was ready to begin. Angelique quickly took a shower and when she was done she spent 5 minutes looking at the reflection of her mother. She couldn't wait to fix her hair, maybe she'd even change her eyes, either way she would be rid of this horrid look. She French braided her hair while it was still wet. It would still crimp it but it kept her hair from getting in her eyes. Grabbing her uniform, which was actually 2 outfits, a dark blue blouse for the girls with the school crest on the left pocket, black skirt and pants, with the skirts dark blue socks, black shoes, and one large robe which was optional to wear that was a dark gray color, nearly black but with the school crest woven into the front pocket and on the back. The boys wore blazers and vests, but the same colors applied to everyone. Time for breakfast. She wished she could put on makeup, but girls couldn't wear makeup until they were 13, school rules. The first years were kept separate from the older students. It was all due to a fight that broke out between a first-year boy and girl who picked a fight with some 6th-year boys teasing another first-year girl. No one was seriously hurt, but the punishments were enough for the older students to be kept away from the youngers. Angelique quickly spelled her room to be tidy and clean, slipped on her uniform before taking her bag of books for the day and her wand before heading straight to the large hall for breakfast. It was a huge hall, made of stone walls and ivory floors, black ornate wood tables, with the head table for teachers at the front. Large glass windows were on both sides of the hall, and of course you were allowed to sit wherever you wished at your year's table. She sat down at the end, next to a couple of blonde girls whispering to each other. "Hello." One of them smiled at her. "Hello." After Angelique spoke they stared at her. "What?" "Sorry, it's just your accent it's." "I'm from England." "Sorry, does my accent disturb you?" They shook their heads at her. "Okay then." Angelique made herself a plate of food and started to eat. "If you're from England, how come you're not going to the school there? Hogwarts?" The other blonde girl, the one with the purple glasses, asked her. "I didn't want to, so I applied here and I was accepted." "Oh, how'd you do on the test?" "Very well. I was told I made the highest score." They stared again. "Really?" She nodded. "That's amazing. What's your name?" "Angelique. Angelique Potter." "You?" The girl in the glasses smiled. "I'm Kathleen Mabel, but you can call me Kate." The other pointed to herself. "I'm Marcella Bates. You can call me Marty." "Mind if we call you Angie?" Angelique frowned. "Sorry, only my sister can call me that." They looked at each other. "Why just your sister? And is that a lightning scar on your head?" They pointed at the scar. "Yeah, got it when I was 1. Not sure how, no one seems to know." She had to lie, she didn't want anyone knowing what happened 10 years ago. "Oh, well. Both girls looked away. Obviously Angelique was odd to them. It was that way with everyone who met her. It was like she gave off a vibe that made them all uneasy. Angelique ate her breakfast in no time, but then loud calls, owls, were heard and the morning mail arrived. They dropped packages and letters in front of the students, and Angelique spotted her family owl come her way and gave her a letter. Thanks. She stroked the owl's feathers, gave him a treat, and saw it was a letter from Abby. She remembered that Charlie started school the other day. No doubt they knew now what was going on this time. Dear Angie. Hey, how's school so far? Are you making any friends? How are your classes? I do look forward to hearing back from you soon, but you probably won't like what I'm about to tell you. Like we thought, Charlie got into Gryffindor. Mum and Dad bought him a new set of robes and some candy to celebrate. Big surprise, eh? Charlie tried writing to me, telling me that I would be better at Hogwarts than some Yankee school like yours. That's not the weird part though. After you and Charlie left, Mum and Dad have been acting odd around me. I mean, just yesterday after they dropped Charlie off, they took me shopping. They actually bought me new clothes and books. Mum even got me a doll. They're actually giving me attention, but I can tell they want something from me. If you would think it's because they want me to attend Hogwarts instead of your academy school, then that's probably it. They want me to be like Charlie, so they're trying to bribe me, maybe. Sirius is the same, but Remus is still here when I need him. I miss you already. I miss you so much. I actually slept in your room the last 2 nights. I want to be like you so much, Angie. I hope that when the holidays come we can spend a lot of time together. I tried telling them that I want to be like you, but they disregarded it. Write to me soon, Angie. I love you. Your sister, Abby. Angelique frowned again. James and Lily were trying to shape Abby into a spoiled brat like Charlie now that she wasn't home. One more reason for her to hate her parents, but to also wish Abby was here with her. The bastard and bitch were going to regret this, as was the mongrel. Revenge wasn't necessary, but proving her strength was. I will make them all see someday, and I guarantee when I do I will not be merciful. She thought darkly, and then grabbed her bags as the school bell rang for breakfast to end.